everyone. It's Paquita Reddish with Boss Chick, and we are here behind the scenes at Win Stories. All the ladies have done their stories. Woo! What a beautiful day. So I want to just thank you all for coming on to this special episode of Boss Chick Testimonies. We're going to start with Miss Wendy. Oh boy. So Miss Wendy is the founder of Win Stories. So can you tell us a little bit about Win Stories?
Okay, sure. So I feel like I'm kind of at a loss of words after seeing everybody's stories today. But One Stories was created out of kind of necessity, in that I was coaching clients who wanted to get on more stages. They wanted to do a TEDx, but they didn't have the idea yet. And I kept thinking, man, if there was only a TEDx just for stories, I'm like, well, maybe I'll just create the TEDx, stage for stories. That's how it began. And I worked on it for about a year to come with how it benefits women's businesses besides just being on stage, how they can utilize the live video, the books, the podcast to also help them, with the assets for their business.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then you decided we needed more stories. We got certified facilitators, and this is Sharon Slack over here, and this is Michelle Vande Hey. How did y'all become certified facilitators?
So for me, I mean, I was in Wendy's first group, and from day one, I was like, man, I just want to be a part of this. And for most of the following events, I was at all of them, like helping, like just encouraging women. And, it was just funny because a lot of the ladies were like, they're like, oh my God, you just came to help. I'm like, yeah, man, I just want to cheer you on. It's, you know what I mean? It's kind of like nursing school. You don't get it unless you've done it. You know what I mean? And so it's just like, I just wanted to be there. And so when Wendy announced that she's like, I'm only one person, I need help. And I created the facilitator program for Win Stories. I mean, I almost like tripped getting to the phone to message her and be like, I am in, because I just knew that it was what I wanted to do. And I just haven't looked back. So.
Yeah, for me, I was in a cohort a year ago, and all last year throughout my business, I just kept saying, like, I feel like I'm supposed to be part of someone else's thing that's already great, but like to make it even greater. And I just like had this feeling, and I kept holding back in my own business because it was just like I wanted to feel more collaborative. I think part of it is like, as you know, like as business owners, can feel so lonely, and it's like I just work so much better with people. And I even like said something to my business coach in June at a retreat, like I just feel like I'm meant to be doing something with someone else. I don't know what it is, but I'm supposed to be doing something with someone else. And then August came around, or July, or whatever, and Wendy announced it, and it was kind of like the same as Sharon. It's like, I think this is it, because it already aligned with my values of really helping people to like lean into who they are, right? And be able to embrace that on like the next level of getting on a stage. And so I basically raised my hand right away and said, I want to be a part of this.
That is so awesome that you get to transform these women's lives. I did mine in June of 2025. Here we go. I'm such a big baby. But, if I hadn't gone to that Warrior Unchained event,
Yes.
who knows where my life would be? Because I met Sharon at that event. I met Miss Wendy at that event. And eventually I met Michelle. And then, everything those connections just started coming together. And then to be the first African American Win Story speaker is like, what? But it literally changed my life. Like overnight, it felt like, those words of, my last words were, and I am ready and stepping forward. I felt like the door just bust open, and here we are. Yep. How did that feel for you, Tanisha, today?
For me, it was powerful. It was very liberating to do it. Somebody encouraged me to do it. always like, always doing it. But it felt good because I always got my glam squad and I always got my support mix. So it made perfect sense because
being vulnerable like today. So today was a very triggered moment, right? It was very triggered, and I didn't think that it would be triggered, and we practiced it yesterday. However, it triggered me, and so I had that support system, which was amazing because everybody don't get that support system. You don't get it. And so to have it, that's the support that I want. That's the support that I needed. That's the support that you need when you're unpacking trauma.
Yeah.
And to have created a space like that, I don't think you thought it was.
No, I had no idea.
Actually, real quick, I'm gonna go into a question for me. Yeah, did you think that you were creating something of that magnitude when you started that?
No, and I'm gonna cry just thinking about it because this is why we all get along good because we're all liars, right? You know? Yeah, I had no idea until that first event when everyone got off stage, but then I did my own story and I got off stage. I was like Sharon, I was shaking, I was crying, and I knew I had left something on that stage, and everything changed.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh shit, what did I create here? And I've seen it every single one, and even to not, be in your group, which is amazing to sit in the stage in the audience and watch and see it happen over and over again. People, I'm like, I had no idea. I had no idea the transformation. I call it. It's at a quantum level. What happens? I've been kind of researching this a little bit. The words you say and the words you chose to say on stage not only changes you, it changes the audience. Yeah, it's amazing.
I would ask you, Trina. You said that learn to sit with the uncomfortability.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Because people really need to understand that part.
Yeah, I would say, just from my story, having an upbringing where I'm an emotional person, I know that. I've learned that through personal development, temperament analysis, all of that. But it was always, you just push that uncomfortable somewhere else. You put it in a locked room and you never look at it again. And for me, like sitting with the uncomfort does start that healing. And that's why I feel like, I don't know, like preparing to share this today, I don't feel like I had as much anxiety around it because I've done all of the healing towards it. And I have opened up those locked doors and I have sat with those. And even ones that I thought that I dealt with, like there were times where I'm like, I kind of feel like I'm just going through like bullet points of what happened. And I think it was, there was another speaker who'd done a Wednesday story who came in and said, like, you need to sit with those emotions. You can't just tell your story. You actually need to relive it. And I think that in itself is very healing because, especially when there's others involved, that, and if they're still in your life, like being able to process through that together. So my story involved my husband. And we would talk about it regularly. And like I even brought it up to him, like, are you okay if I share like our moment? Because his parents live like 12 minutes away and I didn't invite them because I'm like, I want this to be like us. And they can see it afterwards. So it's like, and that's why I say, like, when I work with women, I believe everybody needs to do the inner work. But I don't want to make people do the inner work. And similar to like Wen's stories, it's like, I believe everybody should do a Wen story. Because everybody has that moment when everything changed for them. But you have to have that awareness to want to do that for you, nobody else. When the story's ready. Yes. Right. Exactly.
Okay, so my podcast is We Never Talk About That. And obviously centered around what we didn't talk about. My question is, why did you tell your story and what do you want others to get out of it? I'm going to go around the room with that.
I would say, my initial response is because of that one pivotal moment. And even if you ask, like, my parents, like, when was the moment where everything changed for Trina? They knew it was that moment because that's when my parents and I's relationship shifted from, like, child to parent to adult to adult.
Good.
And so I think from that, especially since, there were times after that moment that I shared when, like, my husband walked out the door that, like, there were multiple times I was like, we're separating and I'm never going to get married again. Like, that was my person. And for me, it's like twofold, like absolutely empowering to be able to share with others that you can go through something so traumatic, but you can still choose to be authentic, be your true self, see and hear yourself with where you're at, what you're doing, but also like your loved ones and how they're impacted. And it was like kind of like an homage to what I feel and what I've experienced in relationships of just even like my family that I'm used to. Like if there's something, one big fight happens, they're separated. It's like there's no trying in it. And I wanted to, you know, I'm newly in my 30s and I have so many friends who are already divorced and remarried and broken up. Like it's not the, I don't know. It's not healthy and it's not what I want, you know, my future children to see. I want them to see women who, you know, if that is the path where you do end up separating, that's okay. I'm not saying that's bad, but it's like, did you put in all of your effort on both sides? Because like, yes, this is my story, and you know, my husband has his own story of his whole journey too, and so I'd say that's my reason.
Same question. Yeah, I'll go around the room. Same question.
So for me, kind of in the same boat, you know. For me, I really had a life altering moment where the doctors basically told me to go plan my funeral, and I really started doing so much life review, and I thought about all of the damn times in my life that I had felt left, right? Left by friends, left by family, left by just so many, and I just really had this moment of stop leaving yourself. And everybody else might have left you, but you ain't gonna leave you. And I was like, I'm gonna figure this out, and I did. And I got healthy, and now coaching women, like being able to help other women see the woman that they were always meant to be, right? We're not gonna change you because guess what? You are freaking amazing. We just need to dig her out. And so just this whole experience and telling my story, and just showing women that you are made for so much more. And it's just, I don't know, for me, it's just such a good feeling to get on stage and tell other women. And, you know, I've had so many women message me. I don't even know if they saw my story, and they're just like, man, I saved the story because I felt like, man, if she can do it, I can do it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, that is the reason I coach women, because as women, probably you all can relate to this. We fill everybody else's cup, right? We fill everybody's cup around us, and then we look at our cup and we're like, dang, it's empty. And then we look in the mirror and we're like, crap, who is she? I don't even recognize her. So it's like, I take these women and I'm like, we're going to recognize the woman in the mirror, and you are going to become the woman you were always meant to be because she's already in there. So, yeah.
So interestingly, the story I told on stage was not the one I originally planned. So when I first started, I was doing the easy story. I was telling, you know, I've had a mastectomy because I'm BRCA2 positive. I was going to go down that route. I've never really told this story. But as I got into the coaching, there was 12 of them who went through the first cohort, and I'm listening to their stories. I'm like, oh, shit, I got to tell the hard things. So it was 2 weeks before the event, I changed my entire story. And I knew I had to tell the hard stuff, from childhood abuse to domestic abuse and feeling silenced my whole life. And so I really did feel like I didn't matter, my story didn't matter through all of that. And so the reason why I chose that was because I'm asking people to tell the hard stories, to say the thing out loud. And I'm like, if I don't do it, what is that saying? Right. So then I chose to share the hard stuff on that stage, which I'm so glad I did. But I finally felt like I wasn't silenced. So I'm glad I did it. And I feel like you don't understand this journey until you go on it. And so I'm so glad I did, because I wasn't sure if I should, as the founder, you know, be on the stage with everybody. I'm like, does that seem weird? But I'm glad I did, because now I understand what I'm asking everyone to do. Right. When they step on that stage, I understand exactly the courage and what it takes to get on that stage. Leading from the front. Yeah. And so, it's been a journey since, for me even. I mean, that just kind of let me let go of so much. I've done therapy. But to say it on stage and have that moment, man, it literally did change for me too. So, and I just want everyone, all of you, that your story does matter.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone silence that. So,
It echoes to the coaching too.
Yeah.
That you have. Because if you can't be vulnerable, and that's what I was saying earlier,
right.
that it's different styles and techniques. But how could I dare tell my story from no watching that?
Right. Right.
You did yours too. You can answer the question too.
Well, the reason that I decided to do my story is because I needed women to understand that there are different forms of domestic violence. It's not always physical. It is mental. It is verbal. It is financial. And then it's a hard thing to overcome major depressive disorder. You know, that is something I battle with every day. It is high functioning, but when I crash, I crash. And I needed another woman to know you can crash, and at the same time, you can come out on the other end. Because, you know, I went through all of that. And, you know, when my daughter said, Mom, we got to go.
Yeah.
And she was like, you know, as long as I got you, I'm good. That gave me all that I needed. And then if my story helps one woman to realize that you do not have to stay in the dark, there is light at the end of the tunnel. You can change your life around, and you don't have to become a boss chick.
Right.
But if you do decide to do that, you're capable of doing that. You're capable of doing that. And God has the final say. Nobody has the final say but Him. And it does not matter what you've done in your past, how it came, any of that. Keep going. There's light at the end of the tunnel. That's why I told my story. And then as being an African American woman, we are just viewed as strong and we got to keep going through. No, you got to show that we're vulnerable. We have our stories, we have our moments, but we can get through it.
Yeah, I love that. This one, I love this story.
I have to follow that. That's not fair. Similar to Wendy, the story I meant to tell, I still told it as part of my story, but my when moment changed. And it was about halfway through the coaching, I believe, that my when moment changed. And a big part of it was just all the stuff that was happening, just politically and everything. And it's like, I'm not like a huge political person, but I'm like, this is my story. And I shared something about myself, and it in my world, it went viral. Like, it didn't get millions, but it was shared hundreds of times. I never had anything shared more than once or twice. Like, this post was shared hundreds of times on multiple platforms, hundreds of comments. And I said to Wendy, I'm like, I think this is what I need to talk about. And it was like not the easy one. Even like, it sounds strange to think that like talking about my son's death was like the easy one to talk about, but that's because I had been talking about that for the last 4 years or whatever at that time, even longer. And so like, that's what I thought I was going to talk about, but I needed to talk about being an intersex person and how like that gender and sex, it's not as easy as chromosomes, and it's not as easy as people think. And like, if this wasn't my experience, I wouldn't think any different either. I would think like everyone else. Right. And so it was just like, people need to hear this, because I was born female. I was told I was a girl my whole life. I feel like I'm a girl, and I have XY chromosomes. And that's not what girls are supposed to have. So it felt like it was a story that people needed to hear, but then at the end of the day, it was really what my 15-year-old self needed to hear, to really heal, because I didn't hear that when I was 15 years old. I was told to don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone. Yeah. Can't talk about it. Yeah.
That was what goes on in this house stays in this house. Yeah, what goes on in this house stays in this house.
What was it that your mom said? Don't talk about it. It stays in this house. Blah, blah. And we don't talk about how that impacts as a woman or a man, because especially males really have to, they have to like suck it up, do this.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you teach your son to be vulnerable?
Yeah.
What I do love about Win Stories is that we do have some men.
Yeah.
That have been on the Win Story stage, and they just bring a whole different perspective. And I love that about it. So men too, if you want to get on Win Stories, you can do that as well. But I thank you all for coming on to Boss Chick Testimonies. This is so cool.
Oh, yeah, this is awesome.
Any last words of encouragement for the ladies out there?
Let's ask what you have going on next.
Oh,
What's going on
next? Okay.
So let's start with you, Joe. What's
What do I have? Well, something that it's interesting because as a facilitator, I was like, okay, how does this like fit in with my career business? And going to some of the speaker shortcut things with the different experts, it was like I had these like epiphany moments, and what I realized is like I was talking about, helping people with burnout, compassion fatigue, and vicarious trauma. But I always said it's like it's not about like overworking, it's really about the loss of self. And I realized it's like, oh, what I'm really doing is helping people with identity burnout. Yeah, right, exactly. And so that's really like, so what's next for me is just like really speaking to that, the identity burnout, and talking more about that so people feel seen and heard, and working that into, of course, like my coaching business and everything else that I have going on. Yeah.
What's next for me? Well, with with the Win Stories, you only get a 20-minute talk, so you can't put everything into your life. But it just prompted me to write my life story. And so I have a book out. It's called Anointed Through the Ashes. And it's on Amazon on paperback. So right now I have some book signings coming up April the 4th in Janesville, Wisconsin at Blessed Divine Creations. This is at 1609 Randolph Road. It'll be from 12 to 2. And then on April the 11th, I will be in Madison at the Progress Center for Black Women, 30 West Mifflin Street, and that's from 12 to 2 p.m. as well. We're on Boss Chick Testimonies. We have more episodes of Boss Chick Testimonies coming through, and then I will be starting an 8-week women's empowerment series called The Dominion Strategy. So that will be coming through in June, and I'm taking embodiment coaching. So I'm being a certified coach.
So yeah,
Let's see. So since One Stories, was born, I kept seeing something happening for myself and other women once they stepped over this, I call it the invisible line. Right? There's something that happens, and I noticed it in women's communities, when you have success, you step over this invisible line, and it goes from the people around you saying, "You go, girl," to who the hell does she think she is?
Yeah.
And we don't know it until you cross it. And so I wrote the book, The Invisible Line. It covers a lot of different things. It talks about that phenomenon that happens. It talks about tips of visibility that will actually help your business and which ones might be hurting your business. Proximity. There's lots of things I talk about in the book. So I launched that book. I've got a new keynote, and just expanding One Stories. We've got a great core group with the facilitators right now with, Lisa, Michelle, and Sharon. But we're looking to expand it more and post more events and just get more women's stories on stage. And I want to watch more women cross that invisible line and, own it. Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. We've got Legendary Women in Business coming up. So Paquita talked about it. It was Warrior Unchained, and we have rebranded. I've been wanting to rebrand it for a while. So it's Legendary Women in Business, and it is April 16th through the 18th at the Ingleside in Milwaukee. Paquita and her lovely mother are doing the decor. We're very excited about. We've got amazing speakers, and Sharon will be there. We've got one of my former clients, 1972 Miss America contestant. So she was Miss Oregon coming. She has her portrait in the Smithsonian next to, some amazing, it's amazing the stuff she's done. She's got a great, wonderful life. We're having a big gala, so we get to dress up and have a lot of fun. So that's coming up. So, yeah, so got tickets available.
Nice.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yes. Oh man, for me, honestly, I have tons in the pipeline. I just like Paquita, I'm currently in the process of writing my book, and that just happened in the last month. And so I've started that, and just continuing with my coaching with my Reclaim Her, just really helping women reclaim the woman that they were always meant to be. And I feel like When Stories is a part of that, right? We coach them to gain that confidence back and to really recognize the woman in the mirror. So continuing with my one-on-one coaching and blending in retreats with that. And then speaking at Legendary Women in Business. And then that's in 3 weeks. And then in 2 weeks, Wendy and I are going to be down in Nashville, speaking in Nashville at Lisa Condon's One Story event. So I'll be the MC there and also speaking. So I'm super excited about that. And then I have a One Story event June 5th. And then I also have another One Story event October 23rd. So I have just tons of stuff in the pipeline. So yeah, be ready.
Well, should I answer my question?
Yeah, answer your question.
Well, so wrapping up the book for publishing, because we actually will have another book, right? Or the anthology. But I'm wrapping up my personal book, Beautifully Broken, The Silence Within Me. I am too doing embodiment coaching so that I can be certified to coach as well. And what else? Still just building my life, getting out of my comfort zone. And I too believe just lead from the front. You know, once someone sees you doing it, they're like, I can do that because I might have been a violent somebody before. I can come from that violence, that trauma, that healing, and be who I am today. Because I've watched so many women and so many family members who I've helped raise go through so much. There's something that's going on now where I watched and I'm like, wow, that's somebody related to me, but I can relate to what she's doing and what's going on. Why? Because I've been there and done that. With that, I'm sure there's some other things that will come down the pipeline. I'm not too much just yet, but it will come down the pipeline, and then I'm in the middle of pivoting one of my other businesses as well. So it's pivoting. It's opening Mother's Day weekend, May 9th. Is the grand opening free in Beloit. So it goes live. The Eventbrite will go live April 1st. So people will start getting that to come out and support that. And once you see that, you go, have nothing to do with what she's doing. But that again is something too that me and my mom kind of built and talked about. What I am very proud of as well is that all these things that was supposed to stay the whisper with me and my mother, it's not. Because for me, my story was all about how I just did not want to be in this quiet, locked in silence, and I felt like I was forever, which stemmed all the trauma, which stemmed all the rage, which stemmed for me not going to jail, thank God, because it was a time and a point where I was like, I'm going to be locked up, but God gave me such grace and such navigation through it, because at that time, my auntie and aunt were police officers. So it was like, I could have been like at any point in time with the things I did. So I thank God that I was able to see through that, and I was able to navigate it with other people. So those type of things will be coming down the pipeline for me. Just saying that, yes, you've come from this situation, but you don't have to stay. That's a choice. So the accountability is really big with me. Because if I can do it from a 15-year-old parent, move out on your own at 16, work a job full time, take care of a kid, going to jail over here, doing what him and I was going through. I've known this man since I was 12. So it's like, if you can do all of that and become who you are.
Got your whispers and divorce.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. Right.
Yes, so what initially started and launched as the Wildflower Path Collective, I feel very closely related to it, but I've always wanted to stand kind of in my own light. And so I'm currently rebranding to just Trina Grimm, and just my face is the first and foremost aspect of it. And with that, I am currently working with a coach right now to get some packages created to work specifically with mothers and entrepreneurs, as well as the mixture of the mompreneur, to help with the burnout, to help with establishing the rhythms that either come with motherhood, being the mother, or with your child. And so I hold that very passionate to my heart, and just kind of along the way. So I just recently moved to Minnesota, so it's kind of just creating more connections and networking with women that I've already connected with in Wisconsin area. I've been there for the last decade. But I'll be at a couple of fairs upcoming in Rochester, Minnesota. One of them is the first weekend in May, and then the next one is in, I believe it's the first weekend in June. And just being able to connect with like-minded individuals, network, create some sort of regular occurring, women, just to be able to be there for each other, because there isn't that community. As far as what I have learned in my month and a half living there, again, after being gone for a decade. And just from there, it's just continuing to help others feel seen and heard. So whether that looks like a mother's group, and we are very grateful we live on a property in it's 3 acres, and so I've envisioned bringing retreats there, even just like a day retreat, because being connected to nature is so crucial for healing. And yeah, this is just the beginning, so I'm so excited just to continue connecting with all of you and cheer each other on. So
Real quick. I need to hear from you. I need to hear from you. Can you tell us who you are and what you do?
Wait a minute, real quick. Who's the beautiful lady in our shot? Because we're live. It's beautiful here.
Hi, everyone. I am Lynetta Brewster. I was owner operator of her journey. I still carry her journey. These are my lovely ladies that I do their hair, which are like my sisters, and they were definitely my sisters in Christ. And I'm the woman that loves to support my sisters. I took off the day of work to make sure that I came to support, and I try to support them as much as possible. But yes, I am Lynetta, and I have plenty of stories to tell you. But we're gonna wait. I'm already one of her episodes. You can catch me on Tanisha's episode, one of her episodes. We never talked about that. And it's a recent situation that happened with me that I'm still kind of impacted and waiting on some results. But I just love to help. I do everything, so it doesn't matter. I'd like to be supportive to my friends. These ladies are the first ladies when I came to Wisconsin that basically took me in, because I came to Wisconsin on my own. I'm that girl that travels on her own, pack her bags, and go. This is what God said to do. Okay, I'm off. And now I'm currently living in Madison. I was in Graceville, but now I'm in Madison. Thank you.
Like every sister out there, she will give me the tough love.
That's how you know you have friends worth keeping around, when they'll tell you the truth, even if you don't want to hear it.
But I thank you all for coming on to Boss Chick Testimonies. This has been a great episode. I love all of these stories. Go out to Win Stories on YouTube and check out all of the stories. There are over 40 men and women with new stories that you need to hear. All right? We'll see you next time on Boss Chick Testimonies.
Thank you, Paquita.
Right?